Hello and welcome to another Zach Carnage video. So this time we are looking at the heavy destroyers. Now last time I was looking at the destroyers, some of the pros and cons. And the great thing about all destroyers is their maneuverability and their increased toughness. And also obviously 3+ armor save, everyone loves that. But what is the main difference about having your heavy destroyers? Well, first of all, you've got a little bit extra protection because you can sit a lot further back at 36 inches to fire these heavy Gauss cannons. Another good thing about them is that because they're strength 9 AP2, you can pretty much rip a hole in the side of any tank or any heavily armoured infantry. Now you might prefer to take out infantry with something like death marks, but if you're going for a themed army, then I think these guys are definitely a good choice to go with. In fact, I'd be quite interested to see if anyone has come up with a Necron list that uses purely heavy destroyers and no normal destroyers. If you had 3 squads of 3 heavy destroyers, because that would be incredibly maneuverable, very hard hitting, and you could team it up with some other great units like the pre-mentioned death marks. If you wanted, maybe even throw a Catan in there and see what happens. And I think this would definitely be an interesting way to go. I might actually try it out myself at some point. Obviously, I don't have all the models for it because I've only got these 3 guys here. Now, the limitation with heavy destroyers is you can only have 3 in a single unit. And they're going to cost 60 points each. And they've only got 1 wound, so these guys will go down if you get them too close. That's why I was talking about how you want to use that 36 inches, and you want to definitely take advantage of that hang back and just sort of move towards the edges of the board, and that way you can fire off shots at your opponent without the risk of being blown apart by bolters or anything like that. Because that is a very serious problem in 6th edition, is that Marines can now, your standard Space Marine or Chaos Space Marine, like this one here, they're able to walk their 6 inches up to you and then shoot another 24. And this has become a real problem if you've got a shooting army, which you would normally sit like at the back of the board and just shoot stuff. Because now you're at a disadvantage if you're not taking the offense. So it's a good plan to try and get that extra range, which these guys do provide, and to keep them moving. And because they're jump infantry, you're able to do that with these guys. Now, as these are single wound models, perhaps it's a good idea to try and protect them in some way. Now, if you're filling up all your choices with fast attack, that's going to be a bit of a problem for you because the Necron Codex seems to have all the best choices in the fast attack. We've got the Wraiths, we've got the Destroyers, we've got the Scarabs. All kinds of different armies can be built around your fast attack choices. But perhaps you want to go for something a bit different. I did suggest previously that you might want to use a Doom Scythe. Now, Doomside is very effective at taking out any unit which you think is coming up to these guys, and you want to wipe it off the board before it gets too close. Another unit which I think would really work well at defending your destroyers and your heavy destroyers would be a monolith, because it's a good idea to get those templates down on the board, especially as we're seeing a lot of horde-based armies in. Another useful tactic that you can employ with destroyers of any kind, and I know this kind of goes against my previous point, but because they're jump infantry, you're able to move really quickly. Now, because a lot of the missions are objective-based in 6th edition, it's a good idea to get these guys up towards the middle of the board, but still quite a way away from your opponent. So if, say, your opponent takes up one half of the board, perhaps it's a good idea to head towards the middle on the other side, and then you can still fire shots at your opponent without risk of being shot back at. But you can get into a better position to start contesting or pressing against those objectives. Now, I do often mention that I really like using a Destroyer Lord, but the problem that I think some people are finding is that they have the idea that they'll give their Destroyer Lord a Resurrection Orb, and then send him with your destroyers or your heavy destroyers, and that he'll be able to keep them alive. Now, because you've got a small unit here of heavy destroyers, only 3 guys, it's just not going to happen. I mean, you're getting back up on a 4+, but chances are the whole unit's going to get taken out, or you might put him at the front, chances are he'll get taken out. So you've got to think about the possibilities here. But it's not very likely that the whole unit will survive, just given the fact that you've added a Destroy Lord, perhaps with a Sempiternal Weave, probably if he is your Warlord, you're probably giving him that, and then definitely with the Resurrection Orb. It's just not really a viable option to keep all of your Destroyers alive. Anyway, I hope this video was useful to you, just looking at the Destroyers. Don't forget, I'm still running my subscribers competition, so I'll put a link down in the description, and you can leave any comments down below as well. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.